we live in a crazy world now, and I got to thinking about how we relate to our world. And a lot of us relate to our world through our religion, various religions. But one thing is true with all religions is there's a concept of a superior power. And how do we deal with that? Then I started thinking, that's a terribly serious subject. And then I happened to come across an act of God, which treats the subject with a seriousness, but with such great humor that I just couldn't put it down. And I kept reading it, and then I'd go back and read it again over a period of about 2 years. And I just thought, you know, when you laugh at yourself and you laugh at your situation, oftentimes it's more revealing about how you feel. So humor, as comedians often know, comes out of truth. And I just thought this was a wonderful way to consider some very complex questions with no sense of responsibility for the solutions. I wanted to cast the show differently than it had been cast before. On Broadway, it was Parsons and Hayes, and these two guys were fabulous and did a great job. But I kept thinking there must be a way that we can do non-gender. And then I thought, well, then just go against the whole gender concept and cast a woman. And then I found out by some research that at least twice that I know of, it has been done with a woman. So I thought, well, that isn't very original. And then I thought of the woman I wanted. And then I thought, that is original. So I was very pleased. Kim is an amazing human being, as well as being a marvelous actress. I was really interested in finding a very intelligent, smart, strong woman. And I told this story to an interviewer the other day of how I actually realized it was Kim I wanted. I knew in my mind, I knew the description that I wanted, but I didn't know who that was. And one day my little niece was playing with a book. She's too young to read yet. And I said to her, I said, Aria, do you want me to read you this book? And she handed it to me reluctantly. She didn't want to give it up. And it turned out to be Kim's book that she wrote with her husband. And it's called Amy Hodgepodge. And it's about a mixed family, and it's a very sweet book. And when I looked to see who it was by, I went, oh my gosh. I almost said, oh my God. Oh my gosh, Kim Wayans. And then I realized I knew exactly who I wanted for the part. Well, I love the Angels because the Angels, there is a very, very serious angel, and he tries to keep everything in line. And there is a very rebellious angel, and he tries to defend mankind and make God answer questions that mankind has had for years. And Peter DeLauria and Benjamin Brown were the two perfect people. And what turned out is I found out after I had cast them that they knew each other. So that was great fun. And in actuality, they have somewhat a bit of the same relationship. So that was fun to find out afterwards anyway. Actually, surprisingly enough, very, very little. Because in fact, if you think or don't think about the concept of God, God is form and formlessness. So therefore, God can be in any form. So And Jeroboam even says that in the script. So I thought that was interesting that he had knowingly or unknowingly set it up to be any gender. And isn't it kind of arrogant of us to apply a gender to God? So that's what I thought, and that's how I proceeded. Well, where the heck does this happen? It happens in Bristol Riverside Theatre, but what is the setting? What setting would be appropriate for God? And thank heavens I was working with Jason Sims, who is a brilliant set designer, and came up with a glorious set. I just love it. Well, the costumes were interesting because I knew I wanted them to be a certain hue of the rainbow, or sort of all hues of the rainbow, but that I wanted them to have a style and a sense. And working with Linda B. Stockton, our costume designer, she came up with a marvelous, marvelous set of costumes. The wings were interesting, and she was able to find wings for the angels that I think are so fun. So I'm excited about that. I think they should look for having a good time and not thinking terribly hard about things, because you will later. I think what happens in this piece, it came out of Jeroboam's Twitter account. He had written a Twitter account to relate to world situations as if God were relating to them. It was called the Tweet of God, and that's what the piece was derived from, was from his series of tweets as God. He would comment about how he felt about various things that were happening in the world. So I think it's an interesting point of view to take. My favorite commandment of all of them is the final commandment of the new 10 commandments God gives us. And you'll have to come and see the show to see what it is.